Thursday, November 24th, 2016. Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So the markets are fairly quiet in Europe today because the US is out for Thanksgiving. And happy Thanksgiving to all my American viewers out there. And I wish you a good Thanksgiving weekend, long holiday. So I want to talk about gold and silver, precious metals, and the difference between holding physical gold and physical silver as insurance, and the difference between speculating in the gold market through futures, through the mining shares, through spread betting that you can do here in the UK and other places. And yes, I think both, the insurance part and the speculation part are very different kettles of, fish. So, because physical gold and silver are basically money. And I've had a few viewers ask what I thought about positive money, and they've sent me an article about it. And the proponents of positive money, basically, they want the central bank or the governments to issue the money and not allow the private banks to issue the money. And they think that would be more appropriate than private banks issuing money. But in my opinion, being a proponent of the Austrian School of Economics, money is not a government creation like the positive money people believe. They even said that gold is fiat money because the government makes it so. But I don't agree with that. I think gold and silver and commodities in general, they evolved through free market interaction between individuals, thousands of years ago. And it wasn't a government who decided first, gold is going to be money, silver is going to be money. They might have said, we're going to use gold to back our paper currency, but it wasn't governments who decided to create money. Money is a human invention between individuals that were, in the beginning, individuals bartered. And then they realized that there were a few commodities like conches, salt, cows, gold, silver. There are some commodities that most people wanted all the time, so they were able to indirectly exchange things. You didn't have to match goods when you were exchanging with someone else. You didn't have to find, if you had some shoes to exchange for rice, you didn't have to find a rice farmer that needed the shoes with these, marketable commodities, as the Austrians call it. You could exchange your shoe and, the rice grower might not, actually, you could exchange the shoe and you might not want the rice, but the rice grower had some salt, and you take the salt, and you didn't need to take the rice, or you take the gold. And through trial and error and free market and free exchange, gold and silver evolved as the best form of money. And they are monetary commodities. And some people say, gold and silver are not commodities, but they are. They're monetary commodities. And gold is the most marketable commodity. And so is silver. It's a commodity that almost everyone anywhere in the world will accept in exchange for, goods and services. And you might say, if I take my my $50 silver to Kmart or Walmart, they will not accept it. That's true, but you can still sell it very easily, exchange it for the government legal tender money, at a coin dealer or a jeweler very easily anywhere in the world for the local paper currency. So what I'm trying to say is that gold and silver are money, and I think with all the uncertainties in the world and in the banking system, it's very wise to have physical gold and silver. Yes, keep some money in the bank, but one thing I can say about banks and the system we got now, a fractional reserve, is that if you put £100 or $100 in the bank and you go to the bank, they're not going to have a little vault for Mr. Smith's $100, or no, that $100 they will create another 900 and lend it out, and they'll take that 900, they'll reinvest it. They don't keep your deposit, and of course the reason they do that is that they do not expect everyone to come and take their money out at the same time. But with what's happening in Italy with their banking system right now, you have to be worried. And the other day I saw that I think Citibank and JP Morgan are considered one of the two top banks in the world that need to raise capital out of the SIFI banks, or they're like basically the too big to fail, even though all we hear about is the Italian banks, Deutsche Bank, the Spanish banks, but the American banks as well are highly leveraged. There's a story here in the FT today about Italian banks, and it says, and I quote, "Once thriving Veneto quietly becomes heart of Italy's bank crisis." Veneto is the northernmost northern region of Italy, where Venice is part of Veneto. And it says retail investors lost 5 billion euros in two local banks amid questions over mismanagement. And I read a little bit of the article. It's interesting to see the mindset, of what people think about banks, or used to think about banks. And I quote, says, "Paolo de Bortoli, a Prosecco producer," so the fizzy white wine from Italy, "inherited Veneto bank shares from his grandparents." And I quote him, "My grandfather was one of the first members. He says, while looking out on fields of vines, their leaves turning golden in the low autumn light. For Mr. de Bertoli, born and raised in the foothills of the Dolomite Mountains in Italy's wealthy northeastern Veneto region, investing all his savings in the bank seemed to be safer than a chest. It had the creme of the Veneto, so it could not fail," he says. But Veneto Banca has failed, at least in the eyes of its thousands of shareholders like Mr. de Bortoli, who have seen the value of their shares plunge from €40.75 in 2014 to 10 cents today. So that's what I'm trying to say. The gold, the ounce of gold, or a gold coin, or 100 grams of gold. Gold will never be worthless in terms of purchasing power. It doesn't really matter what the fiat price is. It's what you can buy with it. So here we've got a 50-gram gold bar. I don't think that's going to be going down to 10 euro cents anytime soon. I don't know where the price will be in a year, 2 years time, but it will be valuable. You'll be able to, purchase things that will keep you, alive, or luxury. But the bank shares or the paper money, they don't keep their value. Here's another example, not bank shares, but this is, it is a Reichsbank note. 1 Million Mark, 1 million mark. That's from the Weimar Republic. The only reason it has value now is for collectors like me. But even then, it didn't have any value, and it's got no backing to it. that I know of, the Reichsbank note. And even when the US was on a silver standard or gold standard, I've got here some United States of America, Treasury notes. They're not Federal Reserve notes. And this is from 1923. And it says $1 payable to the bearer on demand, right? So there you have it. Even these promises have not been kept. I don't think you can go to the Treasury now and demand, $1 for that note. So that promise has been broken. That's what I mean by, keeping this, in your hands or safe wherever you want to keep it. And then you have here another one from 1935, same thing, payable by the United States Treasury silver certificate. So that's why I do not agree with the positive money people, because governments can always cheat. They might start issuing these and back it with this, or in this case, $2.50. But then they'll just say, oh, we won't pay you anymore. We'll break the promise. Politicians are known to break promises. And that's why I don't believe in this positive money school. I think the only school to go is for the market, a free market, to be involved in money, like Bitcoin, digital money, or physical money, and for government to get out of the money business. They might want to provide a service to, certify that the gold and silver are good and stamp it like they used to do, a government mint. That's not a problem. But the problem is having the paper money, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. In terms of the markets, I know the US is closed, but actually the futures are trading on Thanksgiving. So the Dow, not surprising. What do you think the Dow is? Up or down? No, it's up. Up 12 points, 19,092. S&P actually is down 3/4 of a point. Gold, what do you think? It's down, of course. 1184, down $4. The range has been 1180 to 1191. Silver is 1628, down 7 cents. The high's been 1642. So not much activity. Bond markets, U.S. Treasury markets are closed. So bond markets are very quiet today. So yeah, don't get caught out. If you really want monetary insurance, you need to hold these and these, not these things. And if you want to speculate, go ahead and speculate, but that's a completely different game. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share it far and wide, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. If you'd like to donate to the channel, there's some links below in the description. I accept Bitcoin, BitGold, and you can pay me also through PayPal and Patreon. Take care. Goodbye.